Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hilk empath, and I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. Today I feel pretty good. I thought I'd focus on the folks that want to be here. The folks that like to hear the things that I have to say, instead of trying on figuring out how to reach the people that haven't heard. Then I listened to some music and I got it centered and dialed in a little bit more and came back to the realization, see, because thoughts that I have, they're goes around, comes around, I get a thought and it comes around later. Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to hang on to that outer world stuff. Yesterday, the second half of the day was a hard day for me. My headache came back, and then I got angry. Then I almost got sick, but then I meditated and calmed down and went to sleep, and my headache's gone again. So, just going with the flow. Thing about anger is, man, I get so mad at myself. I get more angry at myself just for getting mad or reacting in a kind of way that is less than light, I'm gonna read something real quick. It's a memory I shared this morning that I shared 3 years ago. It was by Teal Swan. Many people, I didn't know who she was then. I know she is now. And, the funny thing about words is, I don't think there have ever, there ain't no sayings or words or things put together that ain't never been said before. People just put it in a different order. You read books, then you put the words you read from other books in different orders and write more books. It's weird. Anyway, many people think that being spiritual means being positive, but spiritual means being conscious and aware. To become conscious is a much different thing than to become positive. To become conscious and aware, we must become authentic. Authenticity involves both positive and negative, full spectrum. It's a broad spectrum. Life is a broad spectrum. From the brightest of bright, love, the highest vibration, to the darkest of dark, void of all light. So, anyway, people are stepping into their light. They're not they don't like it. It's scary. It's weird. It's everything that they told you wasn't to be embraced. Everything that religions, they all said it's all woo-woo, but they themselves use the same woo-woo to put themselves in advantage, to put themselves in a higher power standing with more monetary means, while you stay down here, I've been duped. I used to believe a lot of people, until I started listening to myself going, it's really weird because what they're saying feels different than what they're feeling, and it's because it's, I guess, social norms and graces that you don't question people, because then if you question people, that's construed as rude. That's why people always said I was rude, because I would question people and things. I had questions about everything. And adults, a lot of times, they can't come up with the answer. They aren't even imaginative enough to make up an answer, which I wouldn't want them to do anyway, because that would be a lie. But it's like, but there's a lot of people with the imagination, a lot of imagination. They like to make up stories, man. People that lie are a fucking trip to me, man. People that can just look in your face and blatantly tell you something that there is no truth related to it at all. That is a vibrational frequency that is so far beneath me that I just don't pick up on it. I don't understand it. I don't like dealing with it. So it's like you listen to people's stories, and how do you tell how can you tell? Well, do they feel like they're lying? I mean, are they looking at you in the face when they're telling you the story? Or are they looking at you in the face like too much, There are some people that are just so void of spirit. What do? You just freaking move on, man. But it seems like the world got into this gross, unjustly imbalance of more people that are void of spirit, that their ego has outweighed their spirit. And now it hasn't worked because all those egoic things aren't working anything. All those things that people do for, money, property, prestige, the good looking lady or dude on your arm, the wardrobe, all that stuff that you can't take with you, all of that stuff that you can't take with you, they're finding it doesn't work anymore. And a lot of people are like losing jobs, or not being able to get jobs and taking big old huge freaking financial hits and burning through 401ks. And so, if you're lucky enough to come to the point that just recognize that as long as your needs are met and you got a roof over your head, even though there's not a lot of heat, and you do have electricity, even though there's no water, but you are still in, good. That life is still good, and there's people that are gonna start losing things, that to me just aren't important, and they're gonna freaking fall apart, and they already are. You can tell. I want to tell about a dream that I had before. I forget. It was and the way I look at dreams are just our spirits in higher dimensions. As we travel, as our bodies mend and rest and try and freaking overcome and rejuvenate through all the crap that we put it through during the day, stress, freaking stress does gross things to bodies, man. Stress is terrible things. People in stressful situations, that's the first thing they need to do is relieve stress in lives of others and in the world. Anyway, so stress and, but I dream I dream every night, and I'm freaking their color. It's just in a different reality. It's just a different world, a dimension. Call it whatever you want, whatever fits to you. And this is my belief system. I don't care if people are in line with it or not. Mostly people aren't. If they were, I'd have more friends, I'd say. So I'm dreaming, and I'm freaking and there's a storm, and I was at the base of a backyard in a hill, and I look at a lot of real estate. I'm on Zillow a lot of times and many times a day looking at real estate and stuff. So I get a lot of different pictures of houses and stuff, and I've been to a lot of places too. So every picture I see is stuck in my brain, right? So I'm in this place that I feel like I've recognize I'm comfortable in, and there's a terrible storm, like 80-mile-an-hour winds, and I'm out in the backyard, and I look over, and this tree was down, and I see this bear head, and it was just the head of the bear, and I was like, oh no, and I hear somebody go, the baby's all alone, and I look up in a tree, and there was a baby bear, and then I got scared, because I thought, I'm like, well, I can't do anything I would love to help the bear, but I can't do anything for the baby bear, so I go running up the freaking ladder, because the porch was broken. It had blown out in the storm. They put a ladder up, and I go running up this ladder to get to the second floor, and this bear starts running after me, and I'm just like, get to the top of it, and I'm kind of like crunched, like, oh, this is gonna hurt, because I think I'm just gonna get lashed by a baby bear or something, and the baby bear runs up me, and I could feel his claws on my back, but he didn't retract them a whole lot. It was just like in my clothes, there was like cat, it didn't go in, but he like ran up my back over the top of me, and then came back down and came right in here, and like buried himself in a little ball right here. And I got up to the top of the ladder, and I was just like, oh my, and he was just so scared, and so this morning I spent some time looking up baby bears and bears in dreams, And somebody called a refugee, somebody was like, they're trying to find solution, but I had to leave this location, so I had this anxiety of leaving this bear before the proper people came, because this bear didn't want to be around anyone else that I was in company with. So it was just so real. It was so real. I was there. I was holding a baby bear. So I woke up, and I was just like, trying to, because it's just because my nervous system is shot, man. There's a lot of people that have nervous systems that are shot. They are. Thank God for cannabis and flower and medicine, even dandelion root tea for when people have upset stomach. I'm so excited that people are going back to the more earthly ways. You just got to stay in your integrity and stay in the light and stay in helping people. If you start using those potions and mixes and teas and things like that for things that start tampering with people's will, you know, like the potions, you know, that's more into the dark arts. You don't mess with people's will, man. It's easy. The stuff is easy. You don't hurt people. You don't. You just don't hurt people. And that includes lying to them, you know, and not giving them all the information that they need to come up with the freaking to come up with what's gonna be best for them. When people don't have all the information, that's why I freaking hate governments, man. And I am not a violent person. I've never been a violent person. I've never freaking put my hand on a person out of anger or love without consent. And you don't hurt people. You don't take things. You don't. People are living their life up here, you know, beep 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 beep, and someone comes along, they're like, "What's your problem?" You know, what has that ever done for anyone? It's just, I mean, I don't have a problem, but there is that instance that you're asking yourself, do you have a problem? You know, when people try to interject their ideas about life onto you, question them. Question them. That is a controller. That is a control freak, man. People that just want you to do things for doing them without a reason. I can't stand those people. And they're everywhere. They're in positions of power. I've had some of the worst misogynistic bosses, man. Because they did, you know, I wasn't a cute little young thing, so, you know, I was the worker bee, so it's like, oh, okay, you want to work, you know, you think, and they see, that's the thing, is like, because you wear certain clothes and you act a certain way, you know, maybe because men that feel like they're less than a man think I want to be a man, but I assure you, I never in life ever wanted to be a man. That is not a task for me in this incarnation. No. And I believe that all this trans stuff that's going on is incarnation, man. Is you live a life like as a woman, you know, a couple of lifetimes, and you acted like a Jezebel or a victim or a, you know, whatever vibration you act, you collect the karma from that. And then you build that karma, and then we'll see how that serves you as the other side. So you come back as a male, right? Then you get to get the other side of that. And sometimes when you come back as different genders, your spirit is like, whoa, I'm not used to this. I've always been a female. Go back and watch Switch, movie in the 80s or 90s. You know, whoa, this is weird, whoa, you know, so they draw back to their spirit is yearning for the way it used to be, and it's not grounded in this body. So yeah, act it out. Surgeries, I don't recommend surgeries, man. Surgeries are so evasive. Just anything evasive is just, there's no need for it, you know, and people are jealous of it. I don't know, there's all kinds of I know a lot about psychology. I know a freaking lot about psychology, so I'm always, who isn't freaking sizing people up? Who isn't being the profile to people based on their frame of reference, you know? I guess a lot of people are, because if they were, the freaking world wouldn't be what it is. Yeah. So anyway, a couple of things, examples of ego. You can see ego when people's egos are just out of control. They don't live within their means. They're always looking for other things to feed, you know. There's a little isn't enough. This always goes with, if it's little is good, more is better. And I was reading a story this morning as an example of egomaniacs. Is a football player that freaking, you know, had made all this money. They make millions of dollars in football, you know, and then retire, and then, you know, dude gets arrested for 157 pounds of marijuana. And it's just like, freaking idiots, man. So, I don't know, the whole theme I've been getting the last couple of days is live in your integrity, live in your integrity, live in your integrity. So, excuse me, I'm going to live in my integrity today, and if I don't, I'm sure that there'll be karma to pay. Hope you have a rad day. Peace.